So I want to walk you through the MLA practice assignment so that you can be better equipped to double check to make sure you're following all of the formatting rules and understanding what to do. So you should have a module that looks similar to this, where you're going to have the MLA handout you're supposed to use for the rules. You're going to have the instructions for the assignment. You're going to have some kind of example of a student version. You're going to have a template that has a lot of the MLA already set up for you. There will be a link to the submission folder where you're going to upload your docx file, and then there will be links to the different articles that you're supposed to use for this assignment. So this is the worksheet, the basic rules for MLA. It is derived from the master guide. So if you think that you need more information, that you don't remember, all of the MLA from last semester, so you need more that's in the basic guide, then you can come up here to the master guide. You can also find it under MLA help, and there'll be the template is there for your essays, and then here is the master guide itself. So if you need more information about like how do you format author names or something like that, then go here. But if you remember that basic stuff or that more advanced stuff, then the basic guide should do you fine. Okay, so this is the actual assignment itself. So this first part is just reminding you of the 9 elements that we always look for when we're trying to put together an MLA works cited entry. Some sources do not use some of these elements. You're supposed to look for them, and if they're not there, you skip over it and you go to the next element. This is also the order that this information should appear in the actual citation. Part B walks you through then what are you supposed to do with these sources. So you're supposed to first create an in-text citation by quoting from each of the sources. So all of your sources will end with a parenthetical notation in addition to this information about how I want you to handle the source for the individual item. So for that journal article, and again, if you come back here, you can see journal article in print. So we're talking about this one. You're supposed to use a short quotation with a signal phrase. Well, what is a short quotation? Right? So you can come back here and look at the master guide to MLA, the basics, and it'll tell you, what those things are. So here's some general rules. You can also hit Control F and type in short quotation, and it'll tell you what that is. Right? So again, here is examples. So you can see it actually in existence. But I think up here in the general rules, it tells you up here, yes, miscellaneous, how to present quotations. So for quotations that are 1 to 4 lines typed, that's a short quotation. You follow this rule. For quotations that are 4 lines longer than 4 lines, when you type them into your paper, then this is the rules for that. And then again, when you go to the end of the basics, I've given you specific examples of how they're supposed to look. So here, if you've got a signal phrase and a short quotation, then that's what it's going to look like. If the instructions is to write a short quotation without a signal phrase, then that's what it's going to look like. And then this is how you do a long quotation with a signal phrase. And if it didn't have a signal phrase, then obviously you'd put it there. But there really is never a reason why you would not use a signal phrase for a long quotation. To set it up properly, that's just kind of given that you always use it. Okay, so you can see which ones you're supposed to do short quotations for, which ones you're supposed to use signal phrase or not. And then you're supposed to then put together the works cited entry with those citations. And I remind you again here of how to lay out the paper. So let's actually look at the sample paper so we can walk us through there. So up here, 1/2 inch from the top, you have your page number, the right page number heading. So if we're in our template, or if you just want to do it from scratch, what you're going to do is you can see how this is kind of grayed out compared to this. That is a separate area. You have to double click to get into the header and then or footer, right? And then you're going to see the ribbon should change if you're using Microsoft Word on your desktop. And all you're going to do is you're going to, first of all, insert a page number. So you're going to go top of page and you're going to use plain number 3. And then after that, you're going to type in your last name followed by a space. And then we're going to hit double space and we're going to get back down here into this pane. Up here, first line is your name. Second line is your professor's name, and this is how I want you to do my name. The next line is your class information. So the class code is broken into 3 parts. You have the prefix, the course number, and the section number. So our class is going to be ENG in all caps. And then whatever the course number is, that could be 1113, it could be 1213, then a period, and then your section number. If you don't know what your section number is, go to Brightspace. And if you look right up here at the top of your class, you're going to see all this information. Now, do not include Comp 2, Comp 1. You're just using the prefix, the course number, and the section number. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put in my section number. The 4th line of your document should be the date that this is due. So I'm going to type that in. Now, you can abbreviate the month or you can spell it out here. Works cited pages always use the abbreviated month if the month is longer than 4 letters. But anywhere else in the document, it's just whatever you prefer. On this line, we're going to put our title. So the 5th line of your document is always the title. That's going to be centered. And for this one, you're supposed to just use MLA Practice. All right, so here where I have all of this paragraph information, I am now going to replace it with my quotes. And look, I've actually got a long quotation set up there. And here I also say, give you that information here in the template of what that is. So I'm going to show you though how to do the quotation from scratch. So again, if you have a short quotation, first of all, let's do line spacing. Make sure that your line spacing is correct. You're going to hit, select everything in your document. If you're in a PC, that is Control A. And then you're going to go up here. So see Calibri and notice where it's blank. That means that I have 2 different size fonts in my document, or more than 2. So I'm going to make sure that I come down here and I say 12. If this is blank, that means you've got more than 1 font, so you're just going to come down here. I prefer Calibri, but Times New Roman is also acceptable. Over here with paragraphing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the arrow here, and I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to look at spacing. Notice it says 0 point here, but after and line spacing is blank. That means, again, there is some kind of conflicting spacing. So I want to make sure that both of these say 0 over here, and this says double. Here, it's okay that these are blank because my works cited page is in hanging indent, but the rest of my document is in left regular indent. So, and the same thing with alignment. My titles are going to be centered, but the rest of my document is going to be left justified. So those are okay, but that needs to be like that. Okay, now I'm going to then start putting in the quotations. I'm going to hit indent. And if I have a quotation that doesn't need a signal phrase, then I'm just going to start with the quotation. Make sure I can spell it right. Then I'm going to put close parentheses, close quotation mark, space, open parentheses, and then the author name, space, and then the page number, and close parentheses and a period. That's my basic short quotation standard. Now, how I do this will depend on the type of source and the type of author. So this is why I need my MLA basics. So it's going to go up here where it says parenthetical notation rules, right? And so I've given you the template. So if you have one author, if you've got a print or an online PDF, this is what it's going to look like. If you've got a web page that's in HTML format, that's what it's going to look like. And if you have a digital, which is an audio or video file, then that's what it's going to look like. And so again, here's what it's going to look like for 2 authors, for 3 or more, for a group author, or for anonymous, right? So all you need to do is just follow that and you'll be fine. All right. So for a short quotation with a signal in, then I'm going to indent, and then I'm going to give my signal phrase. Then I'm going to give them the quotation. Now, depending on how you set up your signal phrase will determine if you need a comma or a colon or nothing at all before you give your quote. So what is the difference? Well, if my signal phrase is part of the quote, right? So if I say, Joe Smith argues that UBI is necessary for advanced economies, right? Notice that by adding that, the rest of this completes the sentence. So I don't have any punctuation between that. If I were to say, Joe Smith argues, oh, kind of like Joe Smooth. So notice the difference here is that this is a complete sentence in itself. So I'm going to set off the rest of the quotation from that because of that different grammatical structure. If I have no signal phrase, right? Oh, and then I also use the colon for long quotation, right? So that's the difference there. If I don't have a signal phrase, then I'm just going to say UBI is necessary for advanced economies in quotation. But now, because I don't have the signal phrase, I have to put the author's name followed by the page number. All right. So that's basically the difference in signal phrase or no signal phrase. All right, now for my long quotation, I always have to have a signal phrase. So I'm going to say, Joe Smith argues, colon. All right, now I'm going to hit enter to separate my quotation from my the regular paragraph. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to hit indent. And this is going to be what I'm going to say, UBI is necessary for advanced economies. And then I'm going to continue on for, up to, however long the quote is. Now, how do I know if it's long enough? All right, so let me go here to, let me get back to here, the practice example. Okay, so let's say that I actually started typing this out. I can see when I type it out, oh, that is longer than 4 lines typed. So this is what I'm going to do to transform this into a long quotation. I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to hit my indent, right? That's all you have to do. And then if I were continuing this as part of the rest of the paper, then I can say, this is how I would put this together as a paragraph. I would just hit enter again, go back, flush to my left justification, and then put in my response to that, right? All right. So the thing with long quotations also is that I drop the quotation marks by indenting. I am indicating that it's a quotation. So I'm going to put the period, and then I'm going to put my parenthetical. Now, because I'm having to use a signal in, I do not repeat the author's names. I just put the page number and then nothing after that. All right, so that's basically what we're doing. And if we look at our sample paper, we can see here, right, here's all of my setup correctly. Here is my short quotation without a signal phrase from my HTML. I know it's HTML because there's no page number. Here I have a short quotation without a signal phrase. So if I look at my works cited page, then that's my database, right? So that's the article from a database, short quotation without a signal phrase. Here I have my video, so signal phrase with a video, right? Notice here that the signal phrase does not use punctuation because the quote is forming grammatically the rest of the sentence. And here I have that timestamp where the first number, the opening, if you will, is going to be all 6 digits: hours, minutes, seconds. So this starts at the second 56 and goes to minute 8. So I'm going to have 00:00:56 to show it's seconds, then a dash, and then 01:08 to show that it ends at 1 minute and 8 seconds. Here, notice this is the signal phrase is different here because this is the complete sentence. The quote does not grammatically finish my sentence, so I set it off with a colon. This is going to be Dr. Grossman. So this is my journal article in print with a signal phrase. Then here is my long article. So Cham and Watson is, I believe, this is the book, right? So there's the long quotation with the signal in from a book. So that's basically all you're doing. Is every one of these quotes is in its own little paragraph. You're not adding anything else to it except if you have to add the signal in phrase. Then when I finish, I'm going to start my works cited at the top of a new page. So even though I've got all of this blank space right here, I still have to start my works cited at the top of the next page. So works cited entry is going to be on line 1. And then I'm going to alphabetize my entries by whatever the first thing is right here, and that's all authors because we didn't have any anonymous sources. So I'm going to alphabetize and then list them. So here is how we do 2 authors: last name, comma, first, comma, and then first name, last name, period, right? This happens to be a book, so notice I've got my book title in italics, the period, and then the publisher, comma, and the year, and then a period. For my TED Talk, it's going to follow the same order. I've got my speaker, last name, comma, first. I'm going to have the title of the TED Talk in quotation marks. I'm going to have the title of the website in italics, which is TED. And then I'm going to have the month and the year of the talk. And notice if my month is longer than 4 letters, I'm going to abbreviate it. I'm going to have a comma, and then I'm going to have the URL. Notice I don't put http://. I start with the www. And then I'm going to put a period at the end. Make sure your punctuation and spacing is correct. For my journal article, I've got my author, last name, comma, first period. I've got the title of the article in quotation marks and title case. I have the name of the journal in italics followed by a comma. Then I have VOL period and then the volume number followed by a comma. I have NO period and then the issue number followed by a comma. I have the year followed by a comma, and then I have the page or the page range labeled with a single P if it's 1 page or 2 Ps if it's more than 1 page. For my website article, I have my author's name, last name, comma, first. I have the title of the web article in quotation marks. I have the name of the website in italics followed by a comma. I have the date that it was published, day, month, year, or month and year if there's no day, followed by a comma, and then the URL without the HTTP heading. For my database, I follow whatever the article type is, whatever the rules are for doing it, I follow that. This happens to be a journal, so I'm going to do the journal format. Last name, comma, first author, title of the article in quotation marks, journal article in italics followed by a comma, volume and number issue, information, year, page range, period. Then I'm going to add the database information. So I'm going to give the name of the database in italics followed by a comma, and then I'm going to give the location. That could be a DOI number, or that could be this longer URL. That's it. That's all you're doing. You're going to save it as your last name and then MLA Practice as a docx file, and then you're going to upload it in the MLA Practice assignment by using this line. Okay, So good luck. Again, take the time to look at, print out the example, print out yours, and just lay them down side by side and go line by line to see if you've got any mistakes. Again, you must use the articles that I've given you. So some of these are PDFs. Some of them you might actually have to go, you'll have to go to the database to EBSCO for this one to see it. So I've given you the link once you're in EBSCO. So if you click that, you have to sign in if you're not on campus. You might have to click that and continue. So this will be SSC, and then this will be remote 2024 exclamation point, and that is a capital R. And then it should bring up the actual article. You shouldn't have to do anything else because we clicked the link. However, if you do, you can see um, oh, where it is. Here is the title of it. So if you have to, you can copy the title and search for it. So one of the things when you're doing EBSCO is to realize that if you click these quotation marks, you will get the citation, but you have to do the style. So you want to go down and choose MLA ninth. And then you do have to double check. For example, this is a journal article, so we only need volume, number, and year, but they always give us the month. So we need to delete that, right? And then we'll also have to delete the HTTPS. And we do want to double check that everything is formatted correctly. But again, if you just do that, you've already got, uh, you just have to, copy that and then just double check that everything is correct. And then if you want to, again, you're just quoting from anything here, so you could actually just kind of copy and then paste. But again, make sure that what you're copying isn't long, so long that it goes over that 4 lines when you paste it into your document. And then you've got your page numbers right up here, so you know what page number you are citing from for your in-text citation. Okay, that's it then. I wish you good luck and email me if you've got a question. Bye bye.